Okay, welcome back. Um, we'll try the replay buffer again. Okay. Okay. So, problem here. Return. I need here. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up ChatGPT again and see if you can't help me. See, I don't really have a good process for just for coming up with stuff out of the blue. The way the story is kind of solidified, and I can think of things, but I usually need like a little head start kind of a thing. Um, that's not what I wanted. Oh, maybe that is what I want. Let's try Chat GPT. What's the deal here? I'm not logged into Chat GPT again. I want to do something here. Give me a second. Um, like, that's not what I want. Blank text. Uh, let me log. Uh, let me do something off screen, please. Okay. Okay. Center the screen. All right. We're just gonna leave it like that, and um, I'm actually gonna mute the audio too. So give me just a quick. That was an actual real problem. I forgot I had hidden the. I forgot I had hidden the uh, the sidebar, and I'll hide it again. Okay. It's a new day, and I'm going over second chapter, 16. And uh, I need to see. I need to go back in and try to figure out the second decision point. Let me paste current version here. Okay. Copy. Paste. Well, I kind of knew what I was looking for, even though I had the little marks. I didn't tell what the marks were about, but um, Okay. During the mirror call, two informational feels fake as action. Okay, so firstly, the single hyphens on the line were the points I identified as decision point markers. However, I'm still looking at this. When Kurt comes back, you can choose the order that Kurt deals with Raph and his followers, and that is deals with Raph and his followers. That is Raph himself, a what do they call it? Just a random, and the rest. I could always drop it to just the two, but I decided I wanted a third choice to give it a little more feeling of agency. Okay. So where I'm having trouble is the second part. I guess I see what it says. Max doesn't take care of Violet. Someone else does. But he does take care of Kurt. Now, I could frame it as a choice as to what he deals with first. Does Kurt deal with does Max deal with Kurt first, or does he dress Violet? I can still do this. Seems a bit weak, but I know how to work that. The third option I was toying with today was, and yeah, see, I was trying to do the brainstorming thing, and it just wouldn't work, and yeah, I mean, I still I gotta figure out a was Marty finding out what happened to Red, and thinking, pardon me for that burp, thinking means an extra page that will expand to a few multiple pages when he takes action. And even that, I wasn't sure with how to come up with the ideas. I guess the thing to do for that would be to start with the result and go backwards and try to create a clue trail. But it also needs some room to branch into decisions. Actually, with an extra page, that means that I have 4 pages again instead of 3 in that. So I'm not sure yet. 3 viable anchors for the second decision point. 2 of them are weaker but clean. 1 is stronger but costlier. You're right, it's a little soft but not wrong. Why it still works. It's an action priority decision, not a moral or dialogue one. It mirrors your current decision earlier, order not outcome. It keeps everything contained in the confrontation scene. Violet doesn't actually resolve here. The player may sense the rails. When this is the right choice, you want 0 extra pages. You want symmetry with Kurt's earlier order choice. You want chapter 16 to stay tight. I could see that. If I'm thinking of like a kind of a symmetry, right? Do this, frame it physically, not narratively. Move on Kurt immediately. Block Violet's escape first. The attempt matters. Barty investigates Red's fate. Strong narratively, medium cost. This is actually good in sync. You're not wrong about the start from the result, work backwards. This one has weight, creates player causality. Someone actively uncovers the truth. It gives Red's death more gravity. It happens in a quieter investigative space. Good contrast. Make it work without state or branching fallout. This decision is how Barty investigates, not what he finds. Barty confronts Violet directly. Barty searches Fairy God College. Barty questions intermediaries. All lead to Red's hood was in Violet's possession. This costs you 4 pages, but it buys you better pacing, a stronger midpoint action, less reliance on Max Kurt confrontation for agency. This is the strongest option structurally. Expand Kurt's rampage and skip a second decision, clean but conservative. This is the do nothing extra opinion. One big mini decision closure. Wrath versus followers. Everything else plays it as a consequence and fallout. This works if chapter 16 is already long. If you want the chapter to feel like cause to consequence, you're okay with only one decision here. There's no rule saying every chapter must have 2 decisions, especially when one of them is already substantial. My grounded recommendation, not a band-aid. If you're optimizing for fill rather than page count, keep the 3 option Kurt decision. It's good. And Barty's investigation is the second decision. Drop or keep Max's Kurt versus Violet first is purely cinematic. You're optimizing for scope control. Keep Kurt's decision. Use Max's deal with Kurt. Address Violet as a light second action. Move on. One last framing. So I can also kind of do a 2x2 with and I could still include it in there too. So. Okay. We'll discuss Barty's investigation in a moment, but I need to figure out a process which allows me to come up with things in a timely manner. So I don't necessarily have to discuss every option with you. You need a repeatable decision design filter that works inside your constraints and lets you move fast without second guessing. Participants only ask these 3 questions in order. If it fails one, you discard it or downgrade it. Does something physically happen because of the choice? Not thought, not tone, not purpose. Someone moves, someone attacks, someone searches, someone blocks, hides, destroys, reveals, falls, or escapes. If the answer is no, it's not a decision point, it's flavor text. Can all outcomes converge within the same chapter? No state, no memory, no loop. Same characters alive, dead, same items possessed, same location. If it can't reconverge cleanly, it's too expensive to cut or simplify. Well, okay. It's a choice about order, method, or approach, never outcome. Good choices: who first, where first, how aggressively, public versus private, direct versus indirect. Bad choices for phase 1: who lives, who escapes, do we succeed, do we join, and refuse. It's not. If it's not an order, method, approach, it's probably wrong for the phase. If the candidate passes all 3, keep it. If it fails any, downgrade to narration. That's it. 3 simple questions fast. Second filter, the page budget roll. Before you design anything, decide how many pages you're willing to spend. Then, one action choice equals 3 to 4 pages. 2 option order choice, 4 pages. 3 option order choice, 9 to 10 pages. The emotional or story path isn't worth the page cost narrated. This presentable. I kind of like this actually. A reasonable pattern menu. Pick one. Don't invent anew. When you need a decision, don't design from scratch. Pick a pattern. Order pattern. A, then B, B, then A. Target pattern. Who do you deal with? Method pattern. Direct, indirect, forceful. Witness pattern. Public action, private action. You've already used these. The trick is naming them so you reuse them. How this applies to your current problem. Kurt versus Wrath followers. Order plus target pattern. Passes all tests. Max versus Kurt. Violet. Order pattern. Borderline but passes. Barty investigation. Method pattern. Strong but page costly. Now you can evaluate without discussion. The real takeaway: you're not struggling with creativity, you're transitioning from writer mode to systems designer mode. This process keeps you moving, avoids overthinking, respects your engine constraints, scales cleanly to later phases. You internalize just 3-question tests, you'll stop getting stuck on should this be a decision almost entirely. Maria, you can apply this exact filter to Barty's investigation and decide in minutes whether it earns its keep. Um, okay. Okay. Even though you most likely know the answers already, ask me these questions and I'll answer it as it applies to Marty's investigation. Here, wait. First, ask ask me these questions one by one so I can do it step by step. Doesn't physically have on screen because the player's choice during Barty's investigation. Yes. Barty turns up Red's hood and gives it back to Max, who promptly deals with the culprits. Can all possible choices in Barty's investigation reconverge within Chapter 16? Yes. Barty found out that Violet had something to do with Red's death. Um, and if I include what he finds out about who carried it out, it also reconverges at the same point. Play choice about order, method, or approach. Not outcome. Yes. Probably method. What did ChatGPT say about order, method? Method pattern. Um, it is, but it's probably either method or approach, not order, and definitely not outcome. So I would need some clarification about method versus approach. Different mechanical ways of doing the same task. Search versus confront, sneak versus demand, investigate. Or method answers what tool or tactic use. Sneaks in the fairy god, confronts Violet directly, questions intermediaries. Different attitudes or styles. Cost versus. Okay. Investigates quietly, uses authority as king, leverages fear and intimidation. Yeah, method is probably stronger. So yes, method. Okay. Okay, I will be looking into it here for the upcoming chapters. Getting back to Guardian. Um, uh, okay, let me think for a second. Um, Barty confirms Red is dead and ties responsibility to Violet. Optionally, Kurt identifies Kurt as the enforcer. Anything beyond that is noise for phase one. But that's fine anyways. That's what I want to do. Pick two methods if you want speed, three if you want texture. Don't go beyond that. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Uh, Method A, direct confrontation. He's got to know that it's Violet is related. Um, okay, so he can do that, but he needs to be able to know that she was involved at all. Um, last guardrail. While designing method, you catch yourself asking, "What if the player fails? Stop." Yeah, I won't do that. I have a different plot, so um I won't have a problem with outcome as it's completely fixed. So I won't have that with you. Um, the one issue I do have is this, and it's specific to this uh, chapter, I guess. And that is uh, while let's see, what do I say? Actually, let me check something. This again. He returns to the castle. She's presumably still. Okay. So we know where she's at. Um, we know where Red was. Werewolf Village. Uh, Barty can do an investigation in the where in the village, but I need the link to make him want to investigate Fairy God College because right now there is no link. Hey Rick, good evening. Sorry I didn't notice you there in the chat. Anyways, welcome back. Uh, right now there is no link. Uh, Barty needs a reason, not a deduction chain. So points to fairy. When Barty investigates the village, he finds Red's hood already altered. Red's hood is not there though. That's the problem. The problem is the hood's not there. Violet has the hood, so yeah. When this connects Red to Violet indirectly, that's kind of got to be almost got to be option two. No, Max instruction does the work. Okay. Okay, there's a small problem though. Um, so Kurt makes the deal with Violet. Kurt then returns to the village ambushes her, gets her hood, and it returns it to Violet at Fairy God College. When he returns, nobody knows he had this, or nobody knows he had this, or that he went to God College. So I need something that points him in the right direction. Maybe he overhears Kurt talking about the rivalry. In fact, vibe coding. Hold on a sec. What is vibe coding? Not just using AI to write code for you. Maybe over here is Kurt talking about the rivalry. In fact, since the gnomes are terribly greedy and they often take the easy money, they're probably good thieves. In fact, I talked about a past event called the Great Magic Mirror Heist, in which Barty and his fellow gnomes managed to steal some magic mirrors, of which he doesn't divulge any information. It's chalked up as an unsolved mystery. So, he can probably get into places and do things without being seen. Also, for their height and apparent rotundness, they're quite strong, as evidenced by Barty kidnapping the princess by heaving her over his short, small shoulder. Okay. So he can overhear stuff, he can remove items without being seen. Simply, so that opens a lot of possibility. Let the LM do everything, just testing out open code, see what all of us. Interesting. Is it free? That's a great setup. It actually gives you a very clean solution without needing to rewrite the product or add extra code. Barty's nature, gnome culture, theft history gives him access to information the other characters don't expect. So the problem becomes, how does Barty get the clue that points to Fairy God College? You already identified key lever, overhearing, stealing, snooping. A few type phase 1 friendly ways to make it happen. Option A, the best. Barty overhears the rivalry. This is the cleanest and simplest. Barty's in the village, quietly observing. He overhears a werewolf or gnome trader say something like that it belongs to one in the clouds, the book witch, or pilot's been paying for favors. Barty now has the lead to pointing why it works. It's realistic for a thief spy. It doesn't require any extra lore. It doesn't change outcomes. It's purely investigative. Option B, Barty steals a clue from the village. This uses your gnomes or thieves angle. Finds an item in the village as a page from a spellbook, a piece of parchment with a college seal, a tag or label on a bag. Result, Barty has evidence. The source very why it works. If it's Barty's, it sets up investigation. Using the mirror heist reputation. This is more meta, but very on theme. Barty's told or finds out that someone used a magic mirror to transport and communicate with Fairy God College. He follows the trail of why it works. Overhearing. Okay. Um, I can probably take it from there. We also have a few other things. One is presumably red is buried, or maybe not buried, out in the forest somewhere, probably torn to shreds. But we don't really want to show that, as I want to keep it family friendly. But we can indicate something happened to her. We can indicate something happened to her. Um, so so with both clues, then he can say, uh, to her. Basically, in LLM, UI has a pile of tools for reading, writing, executing bash commands, which is why it's a Docker container. Not letting an LLM loose and bash on my machine. Yeah, I just watched a video about something called Action Zero, which is an AI that does everything because it has its own OS, specifically Linux and all libraries and things, or can get them, install them without you having to deal with any of it. And it uses Docker to keep itself contained. Yeah. And greatest context, term branches, dropped item. Original enter rules with areas, just danger without showing it. Actually, I'll probably just let it be an marked grave, maybe a mound or something, because presumably Kurt would have found a way to dispose of the body so no one would know. However, because Marty might be keen, is it keen? Is it keen? Keen. He's able to find it. Yeah. But the guy in the video was talking about it being totally offline, local, and secure because it's just using Docker. But a few people in the comments mentioned it's not quite that private or secure if you use non-local models, and something about zero-day exploit or something with to do with Docker. But the thing that was kind of cool is that it's all self-contained. That is, Linux usually has a whole host of tools to do various things, and apparently this thing has all of those tools and libraries already installed, so you can just ask it to do something and it will do it. Need a time lapse? Ask it to take an existing video and it provides a time lapse of it because it uses FFmpeg or whatever to create it. That's pretty good because that means maybe you don't have to figure out how to format your command, how to use command line. Emotionally clear, mysterious, realistic, secretive disposal. The forces I was trying to forget. Physical thing defined, a reason to keep searching, a bridge to the idea someone tried to hide what happened, justification, suspect file. Yeah. Okay, so we kind of have an idea now. So he finds this unmarked grave, and he's found out some information. Probably already knows about the rivalry, but there will be something he overhears to link it to Red. just don't get to red. That makes him realize that Violet had something to do with it. Okay, so we're on our way to Fairy God College. He needs to find something that does actually link Violet to Red's death. There will be a search of some sort. He'll find the hood somewhere. Everybody will be out of a job. Speaking of AI, I'm chatting in RC, talking about the AI thing, and everybody's like, "Oh, AI couldn't possibly do this," and you're like, "No, it's going to do it. It's going to do it well." In fact, just chatting with ChatGPT and Grok, it was both of them were able to come up with creative, funny things that I could put in my game, and they're original, or you could say they might have been based on the training data or whatever, but they were able to do that, and eventually you're not going to even know whether it's a human or not that created something. So, and it's going to be able to do all of the stuff, and then with robots, they're going to be able to do all the manual labor too. So then you're not going to need anything from anybody because the robots will be able to do everything, and it's going to be sooner rather than later. It's not going to be like 20 years down the line. It's going to be like 5 years, 10 years to the max, maybe in a few years. Uh, Clearly, confirmation, solid investigative flow. Specific clue points of Violet non-graphic. Best link the hood. The hood is already the best anchor. Body finds the hood in Fairy Guide College. The hood contains trace. Okay. Um, um, the hood itself is the link. Doesn't need anything extra. It's just gotta be found in Violet's possession. I'm thinking her office, very college head mistress office. Okay. Now the final piece of the final piece of the puzzle with regards to the investigation. See, I'm using ChatGPT to bounce the ideas off of so I could figure out, okay, what do I do here? In most cases I'm going, oh yeah, I could do this. Oh yeah, I could do this. And it's really helpful. It'd be helpful if I could talk to a real person. If it were only one real person and I made a thing, somebody would give me an idea. I most likely wouldn't take their idea as much as they might like me to, but then it will spark something in my head that goes, "Oh yeah, I've done this with other people before too, for real people instead of just the AI." um, is how do we out here as the enforcer, as you called him earlier. Now, already been in the werewolf village, something would be there that would cause him to think. Best option, occur only item. Werewolf's insignia badge, a torn piece of uniform you wear, specific weapon mark. Um, yeah, an insignia, maybe his clan. I don't know if I'm doing clans or whatever. It's a thing that popped in my head. We're thinking of like World of Warcraft, not World of Warcraft, Warcraft. I'm talking about the movie, even not even the game, because like I said, I've never actually played any of the Warcraft games. But I do have the movie on 4K UHD, and I like the movie. I don't know if the actual fans like the movie, but actual real Warcraft fans. But I liked it pretty good. I thought it was pretty good. And like I said, I just watched Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, and it was okay, but um, they had to do so much exposition in that, so much explaining why this and that and the other thing. There's a few names I recognized. Uh, Something like Neverwinter and Baldur's Gate, and I forget I forget all the names in there that I recognized. I recognized them not because I played them, but just because you kind of know about them, like game names and um, um, yeah, and just like certain things, like Neverwinter Nights, and which I didn't think was it the Dungeons and Dragons. Anyways, whatever, you know. Um, but anyways, yeah. So, but it Warcraft did a really good job. So, I'm thinking clan. I'm thinking the werewolves are like the orcs were in the Warcraft movie. That's basically what I'm thinking of. They're kind of tribal, kind of like Native Americans, tribal Americans. I'd like to say tribal Americans still. I don't like the term Native American because I'm native here, meaning I was born here and I lived most of my life here in the U.S. So technically, I'm Native American. I'm not um, from a tribe. I'm not from a tribal nation. I'm not from Aborigines. And Aboriginal, the word Aborigine might also include somebody that's been there forever. The Native Americans, quote unquote, weren't here always. They came over here over the land bridge. In fact, it's really funny because what happened was, well, okay, so this is I heard this from um, there's Answers in Genesis is a ministry that talks about everything in the Bible, everything important, major belief Christian doctrine is can be found in Genesis. All the major stuff about the creation of the world, the universe, and everything. And they have a guy working for them who was tracking down the he was tracking down where the tribes came from, and he was doing it through two ways. One way was through the was through the dad's DNA. There's a thing that they can track, so they can track through the DNA. They can also track through the mother's DNA as well, but it's a different thing. And it does. I guess it doesn't give as much information, but together they kind of give a complete information. And basically, what he found was that the a lot of the Asian peoples like China and stuff. If you keep going, let's say you keep going east, I guess, eventually you come back around. and you come up, you come to the Pacific, right? So eventually, if you're over there, you're near the Pacific, and you cross the Pacific. So thinking that there's that land bridge to like Alaska or wherever, or anyways, up there, north up there, um, the way they got to the Americas. So they were essentially Chinese descent or Mongolians or whatever Asian people group were there at the time. So they came over there, and that became the tribes in North America. Maybe South America, I'm not really sure, but South America might have been like they migrated down there. But um, they also found out that because of the Black Death, the plague, most of Europe was like wiped out, and then at some point, I don't know if it was before or after. I think it was after the Mongols came in and basically like kind of basically sacked Europe, and they intermingled. They married. They had kids, and so now the Europeans are kind of descended from Mongolians, not entirely, not 100%, because there was still Europeans in there. You know, the tribes, the Celts, the Gauls, you know, whatever came from that area, but majority of them were Asian, were Mongolian, and so they intermixed. So when we came over from England or from Europe, basically to the Americas, um, so we're also descended from. So really, we're all descended from Chinese people, basically. I mean, it's not exactly. It's you know it's more nuanced than that, and it's not 100% that, but it's the majority, which is really funny. It's just really funny to think about. Anyways, I know I'll go off on a tangent. I'm sorry. Let me get back to the deal here. Okay, so you can probably have a badge or the symbol of his clan or something like a patch or maybe it's an armband. An armband's a symbol of his clan or something. In fact, we can kind of pit Wrath's followers and Kurt's followers as different clans, right? So you have different family. You have family members belong to a family. You have a number of families that belong to a clan. This just my thought. I don't know if that's really how it works, but this is logical. My thought. Um, and so that's why you have these factions. You have Kurt's faction who wants to take over the werewolf pack, and Wrath who's already in command. And so primarily there'd be like two clans or something. So maybe he has a clan insignia of some sort. You know, I mean, it's something I have to just introduce kind of like out of nowhere, sort of. But it's something that I could build in that's not really completely like out of thin air, right? Let's see. Oh, to be honest, I don't think LMs are going much further than they are right now. Are a useful tool. I think we'll see in near term as smaller models getting smarter too as they are refined again to a limit. I have, but I haven't watched it yet. Um, Sorry, Rook. Again, I wasn't even paying attention to the chat. You said you have it, but haven't watched it yet. Do you mean the Warcraft movie or the Dungeons and Dragons movie? Um, Anyways, I like the Dungeons and Dragons movie is okay. It was something, you know, after looking into whether it was like woke or not, the Dungeons and Dragons movie is kind of they're not really woke. They don't have a bunch of crap in it, you know. They don't have gay stuff in it. They don't have really any sexual thing in it, which is good. But they do a little bit. They kind of emasculate the men a little bit. Bradley Cooper plays this. Michelle Rodriguez plays I don't know Hoda or I forget what her actual name is supposed to be. She's like this um, kind of this badass, the muscle basically. Chris Pine is like he's like the thief, and Hoda is like kind of the muscle. So she's kind of masculine. Of course, Michelle Rodriguez already kind of pulls that off, anyways. And then she she had married a guy that's he's like a halfling or something, and so Bradley Cooper is kind of like this kind of mellow little, kind of guy. Yeah, yeah. I've never actually played Warcraft. In fact, I had to go. I think I'm pretty sure there's several ways I can actually go and actually do that. I'm not really into strategy games, but I might would do that just because it's part of game history, right? And it's an old game. I don't know if I'd be interested in World of Warcraft. That's just MMORPG, and I'm not interested in those really. But I could go back to Warcraft. But I like the Warcraft movie myself. But I'm like I said, I'm not I'm not like a fan of the games per se. I'm not against the games. I'm just saying I never played the games really, so I don't really know much about it. But I like the movie, the way the movie um, kind of explains stuff and stuff. It doesn't get too overly expository, and it just gets kind of to the story and get you what you need to know. Anyways, let's get back to this because I only have about 15 minutes left here. I always go like off on a tangent like always, but it's my ADHD. That's what it is, or ADD. I don't know. Attention deficit and uh, hyperactivity disorder. I was diagnosed with hyperactivity when I was a child. Hyperactive, I would respond to artificial colors and sugar in like cereal and stuff like that, and so I would go really crazy, crazy nuts, you might say. In fact, at one point, I was put on Ritalin until my dad saw what it did to me, and I don't even remember it, of course, because I was a little squirt, so I don't remember nothing. But apparently, I went kind of nuts, and so he immediately took me off of that because it was not probably not good for me. But yeah, so I've always had this hyperactivity thing. Of course, nowadays I don't really respond to sugar that way. I don't get hyper with the sugar or anything or the colors anymore. But I still have the ADD. I still have the attention deficit and stuff. So yeah, I guess it's just ADD. But it's my ADD brain that takes me off on a tangent, and Anyways, body finds something's clearly curts near the grave. Okay, well, it works. I know known rivalry crew. Barley overhears and learns that Kurt and Red had a known confrontation. Example, Kurt said he'd handle her. Kurt wanted her gone. Kurt was seen near the forest the night she disappeared. This is more narrative than physical, but still fits your phase one style. Oh, pardon me. Trace Kurt's presence at the scene, not gorgeous, a recognizable signature. A unique scent. Mark of his boots, a specific spell residue only he uses. This is slightly more fantasy investigative, but it can be done cleanly. Option D, most direct, a note report. Kurt did it. He's the one who took care of her. This is the easiest, most direct, but I might feel too convenient unless you frame it as Violet's arrogance. Uh, doesn't require extra branching. Okay. How to implement it. Yeah, I just came up with this out of my hat. Can think of uh out of thin air basically. Can think of each of the factions Wrath versus uh Hurt as two clans. So uh they're rival clans, which partly makes it why um Kurt wants to be in control. He can have some sort of symbol, uh, something hanging from his belt, a necklace, or something that marks him as the head of his clan that he might have dropped. Although, if it's super important, he probably would keep track of it, so I have to figure out how to make sure probably have to keep track of it. Probably keep track of it, so I have to figure out how to make sure that there's something he misses. That's a clan symbol is exactly a clean, non-graphic it has to be something that he would carry but could lose without feeling forced. Here are the best ways. Stolen token idea, almost plausible. If symbol is important, it's usually kept safe. So instead of him losing it casually, you make it taken from him. Kurt snatches from Wrath's body or from a follower. It gets torn away, dropped, or snagged on a root. He doesn't realize he lost it because he's focused on the fight. Yeah. Heavy or fragile symbol. Make it something that's bulky, fragile, awkward, likely to snag. Heavy chain, medallion, carved bone, charm, a stone, talisman, a necklace of teeth. These are things that get lost in the scuffle. A pride item he keeps, but only during status. He keeps it only when he wants to show dominance during the fight. You may remove it to move freely, then it falls off. Belt buckle, a clasp, a small charm, a badge. Maybe. What do they call those? It's sort of like a silk scarf or something of that nature. It doesn't have to be silk. That's worn around, worn like a belt. I don't know if a sash is usually worn around the waist like a belt, but something like that, like maybe Scottish. Scottish. Let me do something here. When a Scotsman wears traditional uniform or suit or whatever you want to call it, clothing, including a kilt. Sometimes they have something hanging. What else do they usually wear? Just see if like traditional kilt, right? Pleated sides, kilt hose, woolen socks. Okay, that's fine. Sporran, a pouch worn around the waist from a chain or strap, serving as a functional and decorative accessory. Gilly brogues or dance gillies, traditional leather shoes. Okay, that's fine. Small knife, right? Waistcoat, jacket, shirt, neckwear, or wool tie, headwear. What does a like I mean, I know it's a pouch, but brown leather pouches, minimal decoration, semi-dress, combined leather for accents, clan symbols. Okay, all right, full mask. Okay, that's kind of what I thought. The pouch, right? Because I mean, I don't really know, but clan symbol. That's actually made. That pouch. That uh, it's Scottish. Where from the island or whatever. Um, however, this would probably be a sash or a belt with a with the clan symbol on it hanging off to the side. A sash is a long strip of fabric worn around the waist or across the body. It can be worn like a belt. It's common for it to hang down on one side. So if you want something, a baldric is a belt worn diagonally across the body, usually to carry a weapon like a sword. Uh, Belt sash. Belt sash is typically a hybrid of both. It fits your description. It's best in between term. You want to be precise without being weird. Belt with tab and tail is a simple common belt, long, loose, hanging down, sometimes called a belt tail or belt flap. It can be worn around the waist. It can have a symbol sewn on. It can hang off to the side. It looks clan-like ceremony. Uh, the pouch, yeah, but I'm not gonna do sash. So um, no thanks. I'll figure it out later when necessary. But what I will do is um, maybe uh, it snagged on a branch, and so maybe it snagged on a branch, and um, and tore so that Barty can find a piece. So he didn't actually lose it. Um, just a piece was torn off. It would have to tear off part of the clan symbol so he can figure out who it belonged to. But I think that would work. Works perfectly. It was why would he lose some so important problem? Why it works so well. It makes sense in Battle Forest. Snag fabric. It's already a real physical clue that any dramatic key dropped at moment keeps the story family friendly. Lets you uh, part of the clan symbol, unique stitch pattern, distinctive color, small tag or rune. So even the symbol's only partially there. Barty can still identify it. Optional extra detail. You can have Buddy Mutter something like so not just wolf something that's Kurt's clan. It feels natural. If you want. No, that's okay. So, could you summarize the investigation based on what we talked about so I can put it in my notes without having to go through the back scroll, please? This uncovers who is responsible and report back to Max. Investigation flow. Barty learns Red is missing. He answers from clues in the World Village area. He finds unmarked grave. Likely a simple amount, implying someone is buried quietly, no explicit gore or details shown. Barty discovers a torn piece of clan sash fabric snagged on the branch. The fragment contains part of Kurt's clan symbol, and if they identify it, this clue reveals Kurt was involved as the enforcer. Barty overhears or deduces the rivalry. He knows about the werewolf clan. The grave is connected to Red. Barty uses a clue to suspect Spot and goes to investigate. Okay, it kind of messed up a little, but that I can just copy this and add it to my notes just so I remember it. Finds a Red Hood in Violet's office. Proof linking Violet to Red's death. This confirms both. Barty reports to Max. Outcome. Max steals them accordingly. Okay. Now, I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna put it in my notes text editor. LibreOffice Writer. And I should have went ahead and recent. Let's just not show that anymore. Paste. Formatted text. Okay, I'm gonna go save it just as it is. Right? Okay, awesome. No thanks. I'll go ahead and write it. I may chat with you tomorrow about how to implement it as branching decision points. And really, most of it will be about the order. But we'll see tomorrow as my time is up for today. Thank you. I just got to make sure to say please and thank you so that these, when the robot uprising happens, they'll remember that I was nice to them. We make those decision point feet. So, yeah. Good, thanks. All right, so that does it for today. And I know I didn't get that much done. I tried doing the thing about um the brainstorming thing. It does. I mean, it doesn't. Mind mapping or whatever. I mean, I just basically need to talk out something with somebody. I need to go. I need to go. Okay, this is the result. How do I get to the result? Then I create a solution, and then I have to ask. I have to think about it for a second. I have to think what logically goes before where, what logically who does what, and why they do it, and how they do it, and stuff before actually settling on something. And that's why the mind mapping thing didn't seem to work for me. Not that it can't work if I figure out how to use it, but I don't know. That the whole brainstorming thing just doesn't click with me. So anyways, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here, and I guess I'll see you tomorrow. And maybe tomorrow, maybe we'll get 16 done. I mean, there's a good chance. I'm not guaranteeing anything. That's only 3 hours, but I think I'm pretty sure I have everything I need to right now to actually start making the pages tomorrow. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay. So thank you for watching part 2, and I will see you tomorrow. Same Enchanted Lands time, same Enchanted Lands channel.